business I like. I mean, I followed the Bank of America since I read a book on it 55 or 60 years ago called The Biography of a Bank, and it's got an amazing history. And
Warren Edward Buffett is an American business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. He's currently the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He created Buffett Partnership Limited in 1956, and his firm eventually acquired a textile manufacturing firm called Berkshire Hathaway. Assuming its name to create a diversified holding company, Buffett has been the chairman and largest shareholder of Berkshire Hathaway since 1970. He founded the Giving Pledge in 2009 with Bill Gates, whereby billionaires pledged to give away at least half of their fortunes. Buffett was elected to the American Philosophical Society in 2009. Buffett is a notable philanthropist, having pledged to give away 99% of his fortune to philanthropic causes, primarily via the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Warren was awarded the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, by former President Barack Obama on February 16, 2011. He was honored by this award because of his philanthropic donations.
Oh, I actually got the idea in the bathtub one day in 2011, and when I got the office, I called Brian Moynihan, who I'd never met before, the CEO, and we made a deal very quickly.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is Warren Edward Buffett, but he's also known as the Oracle of Omaha. He was born August 30th, 1930 in Omaha, Nebraska, making him 91 at the time of this production. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, or 178 centimeters. When Buffett isn't busy being the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, he enjoys playing the ukulele. His musical hobby has surprised many audiences. He's played the ukulele on live television, at charity events, and in front of investors. Buffett is an avid reader. His favorite book growing up was 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000, which taught him the value of compound interest and inspired him to pursue a wide range of entrepreneurial endeavors. Before he had a track record for smart investments, Buffett had a reputation for making smart bets on horse races, and even created tip sheets at his local racetrack, and his burgeoning love of statistics did not go unnoticed by his peers. His high school yearbook photo caption reads, "Likes math, a future stockbroker." Buffett is an avid bridge player, which he plays with fellow fan Bill Gates. He allegedly spends 12 hours a week playing the game. Buffett plays under the name T-Bone and has even competed in a tournament against fellow billionaire Bill Gates. He also likes watching football, and he's a very dedicated and lifelong follower of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He attends as many games as his work schedule allows. Buffett's favorite meal is a cheeseburger with a cherry Coke. Buffett married Susan Buffett, born Thompson, in 1952. They had 3 children: Susan Alice Buffett, Howard Graham Buffett, and Peter Buffett. The couple began living separately in 1977, although they remained married until Susan Buffett's death in July 2004. In 2006, on his 76th birthday, Buffett married his longtime companion, Astrid Menks, who was then 60 years old. She had lived with him since his wife's departure to San Francisco in 1977. Susan had arranged for the two to meet before she left Omaha to pursue her singing career. All 3 were close, and Christmas cards to friends were signed Warren, Susie, and Astrid. Buffett's oldest child, Susan, is a dedicated philanthropist. She is currently the chairwoman of the Sherwood Foundation, which is dedicated to educational and poverty alleviation. Howard Buffett is the chairman and CEO of the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, an organization that invests in global food security and conflict mitigation. The youngest Buffett child, Peter, is also a philanthropist. He's the co-president of the Novo Foundation, which promotes initiatives to advance adolescent girls' rights, end violence against women, and support indigenous communities in North America.
Remarkable interest in helping anyone, the people that society had given up on, and she worked with them some. She worked in the kitchens and volunteer. And
Buffett was born in 1930 in Omaha, Nebraska, the second of 3 children and the only son of Layla Stahl and Congressman Howard Buffett. Warren has 2 sisters, Doris Buffett Elder and Roberta Buffett Elliott. He began his education at Rose Hill Elementary School. In 1942, his father was elected to the first of 4 terms to the United States Congress, and after moving with his family to Washington, D.C., Warren finished elementary school, attended Alice Deal Junior High School, and graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School in 1947, where his senior yearbook picture reads, "Likes math, a future stockbroker." Much of Buffett's early childhood years were enlivened with entrepreneurial ventures. In one of his first business ventures, Buffett sold chewing gum, Coca-Cola bottles, and weekly magazines door to door. He worked in his grandfather's grocery store. While still in high school, he made money delivering newspapers, selling golf balls and stamps, and detailing cars, among other means. At 15, Warren made more than $175 monthly delivering the Washington Post newspaper. In high school, he invested in a business owned by his father and bought a 40-acre farm worked by a tenant farmer. He bought the land when he was 14 years old with $1,200 of his savings. By the time he finished college, Buffett had accumulated $9,800 in savings, about $107,000 today. In 1947, Buffett entered the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. After being rejected by Harvard Business School, Buffett enrolled at Columbia Business School of Columbia University, upon learning that Benjamin Graham taught there. He earned a Master of Science in Economics from Columbia in 1951. After graduating, Buffett attended the New York Institute of Finance. Buffett worked from 1951 to 1954 at Buffett Falk & Company as an investment salesman. From 1954 to 1956 at Graham Newman Corporation as a securities analyst. From 1956 to 1969 at Buffett Partnership Limited as a general partner, and from 1970 as chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated. In 1954, Buffett accepted a job at Benjamin Graham's partnership. His starting salary was $12,000 a year, about $116,000 today. There, he worked closely with Walter Schloss. In 1956, Benjamin Graham retired and closed his partnership. At the time, Buffett's personal savings were over $174,000, about $1.66 million today. He started Buffett Partnership Limited. By 1960, Buffett operated 7 partnerships. In 1962, Buffett became a millionaire because of his partnerships, which in January 1962 had an excess of $7,178,500, of which over $1,025,000 belonged to Buffett. He merged these partnerships into one. Buffett invested in and eventually took control of a textile manufacturing firm, Berkshire Hathaway. He began buying shares in Berkshire from Seabury Stanton, the owner whom he later fired. In 1973, Berkshire began to acquire stock in the Washington Post Company. In 1979, Berkshire began to acquire stock in ABC. In 1987, Berkshire Hathaway purchased a 12% stake in Salomon Incorporated, making it the largest shareholder and Buffett a director. Buffett became chairman of Salomon in 1991. In 1988, Buffett began buying the Coca-Cola Company stock, eventually purchasing up to 7% of the company for $1.02 billion. It would turn out to be one of Berkshire's most lucrative investments and one which it still holds. Buffett became a billionaire when Berkshire Hathaway began selling Class A shares on May 29, 1990, with the market closing at $7,175 a share. In November 2011, it was announced that over the course of the previous 8 months, Buffett had bought 64 million shares of International Business Machine Corporation, IBM stock, worth around $11 billion. This unanticipated investment raised his stake in the company to around 5.5%, the largest stake in IBM alongside that of State Street Global Advisors. On August 14, 2014, the price of Berkshire Hathaway shares hit $200,000 a share for the first time, capitalizing the company at $328 billion. While Buffett had given away much of his stock to charities by this time, he still held 321,000 shares worth $64.2 billion.
As they've gone along, they're still very attractive compared to bonds. I mean, if you look at the 10-year government at 2.15, that means you're paying 45 times earnings when you buy that bond.
Warren Buffett is a legendary investor, leads one of the world's biggest companies, and is ranked among the world's wealthiest people for decades, SEC filings show. As Berkshire Hathaway's CEO and chairman, Buffett recommends to his board of directors how much he should be paid and decides the rest of the executive's compensation. The 90-year-old has received $100,000 a year since 1980, a fraction of the $15 million average pay of S&P 500 CEOs in 2019. Berkshire spends far more on Buffett's personal and home security than it pays him directly. Keeping the boss safe has cost the company an average of $339,000 a year since 2008, or $4.4 million in total. Buffett isn't in desperate need of a big salary. He owns roughly $100 billion worth of Berkshire stock, which he's gradually giving away. $101.1 billion US dollars. Warren lives in a quiet neighborhood in Omaha, Nebraska. He bought the house for $31,500 in 1958, $250,000 in today's dollars. It's now worth an estimated $652,619. He calls it the third best investment he's ever made. It's 6,570 square feet. It has 5 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. Fences and security cameras guard the property. Buffett doesn't go for anything super fancy when it comes to his cars. When he got rid of his 2006 Cadillac DTS, he replaced it with a 2014 Cadillac XTS. The car retailed for between $44,600 and $69,095, which is pretty economical for a billionaire.